I'm Megan from Maybe Read Again, and you're watching Disney Channel. So this is my first YouTube BookTube video, and I'm pretty excited about that because I've wanted to film one for a couple months and just never had the motivation to. And so when I saw that BookTube-A-Thon was happening, I thought, you know, my parents are actually gone for the week, so I can totally lay around reading for the week without being seen as being lazy. So that's exciting, and I'm ready to get into reading. I'm in a year-long book slump, and these kinds of challenges and book clubs are really what give me the little extra motivation to get things done. So BookTube-A-Thon is a week-long readathon hosted by Ariel Bissett on YouTube, and it goes from the beginning of Monday the 24th to the end of Sunday the 30th. So the goal is to just read as much as possible, really, but there are 7 challenges and they change every year. So the first challenge this year is to read a book with a person on the cover. The second challenge is to read a book that's been hyped up by BookTube. The third challenge is to read a book in one day. The fourth one is to read a book with a main character that's very different from you. The fifth is to read a book completely outdoors. The sixth is to read a book you bought because of the cover, and the seventh is to just finish 7 books, which, you know, may or may not happen. So the first book that I'm going to read is for the Person on a Cover challenge, and it's Unfiltered, No Shame, No Regrets, Just Me by Lily Collins. I usually listen to celebrity memoirs on their audiobooks because it's like we're friends and they're just telling me their life story, but I couldn't get the audiobook for this from my library, so I'm just gonna read it. And it's pretty short, it's 221 pages, and with pictures, and so, I mean, there's actual normal pages too. So hopefully I get through that because it's overdue with the library. So the second book I'm gonna read is for the book that's been hyped by BookTube, and that's A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have not read this before. As I said earlier, I'm in a years-long book slump, and I haven't read most of the popular books since like 2010. So I'm pretty like hyped myself about this book because I found out that it's new adult, and so that's cool to be between genres a little bit. And I'm into fantasy. Everybody says it's like hot. And it's also overdue at the library, so need to get through it. And it's 419 pages, so close to 420 that I'm a little put out, but I think it's gonna go by really quickly. So the third book I'm gonna be reading is for the Finish in One Day and or Character That's Very Different From You challenges, and that is The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. I read a poem of hers in my Multicultural American Women's Lit class a couple years ago, and this is her most famous work. I picked it up at a used bookstore a couple months ago, so I need to get to it, and it's only 110 pages, so I think this is going to go very quickly. So the fourth book I'm going to read is the one that I bought for the cover, and that's Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. This cover, like, as you can see, is so pretty. The book's about a magical family, and their magic seems to be tied to nature, which is cool, and the whole summary reminded me of the movie Practical Magic, and I think it'll be really cool. I bought this a couple years ago, and it's just one of those books where it sits on my shelf and I say, you know, the next time I read something of my own, not something I checked out from the library, it's gonna be this book. and I haven't done that yet. I haven't been reading. So I'm excited to hopefully finally get through this, because it looks like it's going to be a good time. Garden Spells is also 290 pages. So this next book is for the Read Completely Outside and or One Day Challenge, and that's The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. It's a collection of fables told in prose poetry, and Kahlil Gibran was a Lebanese writer and poet who was active in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This is his most famous work within America. It's only 95 pages, so it's going to be great to read some, poetic fables while outside. I'm a little worried if the sun and the ebook screen will interact a little badly, but, we'll see. So this next book that I want to read is also for the One Day Challenge, but one of the reasons that I want to get through it is because I received it from a Goodreads giveaway. It was one of the first that I received. I've won a lot over the past few months from pure luck. But yeah, so I'm, ethically I need to get to it already, and that's Transferral by Blair. It's very short. It's only 194 pages, and it's about this kind of alternate universe of our own where they've figured out how to control diseases and to give it to people or take it away from people, and so society as a whole has taken diseases away from good people and given them to bad people, who the definitions of which are subjective. And so it's this 16-year-old named Talia Hale, which reminds me of Teen Wolf, who's the daughter of a prime ministerial candidate, figuring out what the ethics really are, what's really wrong and right. This next book that I want to read is pretty much just for fun. It's called The Exact Nature of Our Wrongs by Jane Peery. I received an ARC of it. It comes out on September 19th, 2017. I also received this from a Goodreads giveaway, and so because it hasn't been released yet, I want to get to it before it does so that I can review it and help the author get a community going. It's one of those adult get the family together when the dad's sick and see what family drama ensues kind of thing. It's 278 pages, so it's a little long. That's not long. But it's lengthier than the others, and so hopefully it's good. One of my cats is scratching at the door to be let out. Should I listen? Okay, so I just let him out and let another one of my cats in that was on the back porch. The next book that I want to get through this week is called A Pale View of Hills by Kazuo Ishiguro, and I'm going to be listening to the audiobook that I checked out from the library. This book is one of my required reading for a seminar class that I'll be taking next semester. It's actually our senior thesis class, because we'll be reading 10 novels as on top of a whole bunch of critical readings. I really want to knock out a couple books before the semester starts, just for my own sanity. And this is only 6 hours long. It equates to 183 pages, so I think I can power through. The seminar's topic is making memories, and from the description we're going to be talking about counterfeit confessional memory, so that'll be interesting. In the description of this book, family is dealing with a daughter's recent suicide, so heavy topics. You might recognize the author Kazuo Ishiguro from his other book, Never Let Me Go, which I have heard is a big tearjerker. I'm kind of avoiding it, but I read one of his other books, fantasy, called The Buried Giant for one of my sci-fi lit classes, and that was pretty cool. It was based on like post-Arthurian England. So the last book that I want to read this week is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. It's a really cool dystopian of 20 years after a flu pandemic wipes out civilization, and the main character travels with these like traveling players, actors, and so that's pretty cool, like as an English major, knowing that there's a book that has people preserving the arts and the plays after the world has ended. This is also one of those books, along with Garden Spells, that I picked up a while ago. I got this from Costco, that I just look at and I say, you know, the next book I read that I have, it's gonna be that one, and it hasn't happened yet. So if I do get to this book this week, that'll be great. But I'm not holding my breath for finishing all of these. Station 11 is 333 pages, so it'll be the second longest book that I hopefully finish this week. And the total pages of all of the books in my TBR is 2,123. So, that's quite a lot. And like I said, I honestly don't see myself finishing all of these, but it's great to find things that fit these challenges and hopefully complete all of the challenges, at least, you know, the small ones, maybe not the read 7 books challenge. This is 9 books, so I can cut myself a little slack on that, maybe read the shorter ones. But I'm really excited to finally join BookTube as a channel, and to be part of this BookTube-A-Thon 2017 challenge. Mortimer came to visit, only because I picked him up and made him. Oh, he's so happy to be here. Hello, BookTube.